Hi Libra, welcome. And welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. We're doing our mid-month check-in. Just being nosy. See what's going on for the rest of the month. What can we expect? Check in with the energy. All of that. Sorry, my a little distracted. You'll probably hear my dog come bursting back in here in just a second. It's cold outside. So, as always, we're going to just kind of cleanse the air, cleanse the energies. So if there's anything that you would like to have cleansed, throw it in the bowl. There he goes. Thoughts, patterns, behaviors, people, annoyances, any kind of energy that you want cleansed, throw it in. We'll get that done for you. I'm going to do this 3 times, so just be aware of that if you're wearing headphones. There was a dog hair in there. Here we go. Beautiful. And breathing through the distractions. You know what I should start to mention? Is, you know, kind of taking some intentional deep breaths. Maybe you do already. I do. But just, you know, like, you know, each time, what I usually do, excuse me, let me get my words together. What I usually do is like when I hit the side of this, like I'll take a deep breath in, and then it's kind of like perfect because right at the time that I get to like the top of my breath, then it's starting to wind down. So it's like the perfect amount of time, you know, then for my exhale. And then by the time the next sound comes, it's time for another inhale. But like I said, just kind of taking intentional deep breaths and kind of allowing ourselves to get like centered and grounded and just kind of back into our bodies, right? And breathing through the distractions also. I mean, my dog is a Libra, so that could very well be why he's running around like a madman. Here he comes. Okay. So we're not doing a spread. The intention is for a card or two to come out, because I do like my initial intention was for the readings to be a little bit on the shorter side, just kind of short and sweet, but none of them have been short. So, you know, we go where the energy takes us. So that's okay. However long the message needs to be is totally fine. So, I know like the cards were a bit chatty before. As always, the cards do need to fall out of the deck. I don't shuffle reversals into the deck, but if the card falls out in the reverse, we'll take it that way. And again, just a card or two to kind of get us started. Oh, and then funny enough, like with this deck, I keep being reminded to introduce the deck, which is so funny. I've never really, anyway. So we're using the Modern Spellcasters Tarot. I usually put the name of the deck in the description. But I feel like I don't generally like actually say the name of the deck that we're using, but it's just like this reminder coming from the right side of my head to introduce the deck. So that's just kind of funny. So we have the Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. Interesting. So the Eight of Pentacles talks about building, right? I mean, you know, the Pentacles are earth. It has to do with our money. It has to do with materials and resources, even our physical body. It's also, you know, like the energy of those things. So it's, you know, like investing your time into doing something. I think money is just an easy way to represent abundance, but you could have all the money in the world and still be the most miserable person, right? Like, and just feel unfulfilled. And, you know, those of us that don't have all the money in the world, you know, would be like, I'd be kind of happy if I had all of the money in the world. But I just wanted to point out, right, because we do have these coins here, but then, you know, we have this squirrel over here, and the squirrel has all these nuts. So again, it's like, you know, it's not necessarily money, but it is, you know, just kind of having an abundance of the things that you need. But this is also, you know, like you kind of putting in your time and focus into building this thing, right? You know, we have this dog down here and a squirrel. I wish I knew what stone that was. Like, I want to say, no, the word that's like coming to my head is not right. Anyway, it's like, you know, even almost like saving for a rainy day, of course, because it is raining here. This could also be, you know, because we do have this figure here that's kind of building this little house for these little critters. So, you know, this could be that you have been building this thing for your offspring, your family. Of course, it can be your pets, right? Like just really kind of trying to get in a better situation to where you can feel supported, right? Like your needs are met. The Eight of Pentacles also talks about, you know, like kind of, again, like kind of focusing your energy into something in order to kind of become an expert in it. Like the traditional depiction is there's a figure that's, you know, like working on, like it's using its hands to work on, you know, like kind of creating pentacles. So it's again, like spending the time to become an expert in the field, like whatever you are, like putting your energy into, like maybe you are, you know, maybe you do use your hands, like maybe you're an artist, maybe you make stuff with your hands, right? And it's just, you know, like the time that it takes to practice and, you know, like kind of hone in on those skills. This could even be, you know, like in a job, or any type of like position that you're in where you have responsibility. And then we have the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And the Eight of Wands, well, the wands talk about communication and action. Again, it's the things that like you're going for, that you are like moving towards. It's the physical action of like doing it, right? And actually even communicating those things to the people around you. And the Eight of Wands is very, you know, kind of fast moving action also. It's fire. So, you know, it's kind of even having the motivation to do those things or to communicate clearly. This could be communication coming in to you. It's so interesting because I feel like this is a theory that I'm just gonna end up testing. Let me just kind of pull some cards out here. I feel like the Six of Swords and Temperance came out like when I was kind of shuffling there in the beginning. So it's cool to see them again. But I have this theory because, and especially with this deck, these two cards seem to come out either with each other or within a few cards of each other. And it's interesting because, you know, the Three of Wands talks about getting information or even providing information, but it's information to help you make a decision on what you want to do, like what path you want to take, which way you want to go, what's like the best decision for you. And in this depiction, you know, it kind of looks like she's sending off this, this bird. I don't know if it's a hawk. It kind of looks like. And then we have this owl coming in here with a little package. So it's like, you know, this information is coming in here, right? Like just kind of bringing information to her. And she's just standing there on this, you know, kind of mountaintop, it looks like. And it's all coming to her, right? Like, and again, like I was saying with this Eight of Wands, information is coming in. And we have this one bird here, speaking of birds, right? And it seems to be, you know, like that one bit of information that you needed in order to make a decision. And again, you know, I mean, this could be something that you have just been working on for a period of time. And you've just been waiting for the information to come in. Or it has come in and maybe you're just like, I still need more. Or that wasn't quite related to whatever, right? Like, I mean, you get to decide, right? Like if the information that's coming in is relevant to you. Which brings us to Judgment, which, you know, like also talks about discernment. And, you know, Judgment is, I mean, really making a decision. It is, you know, like the card of transformation too, right? I mean, we have this figure here, and then kind of this rebirth out of the flames of this new version of ourselves, right? And I always see this hand as like our higher selves, but it can be, you know, whatever you resonate with for like a higher power. It could be God, source, divine, spirit, right? So, you know, however that fits for you. But coming out of this energy of like despair and, you know, kind of depression or anxiety and, you know, kind of being lifted up and, you know, this transformation with the situation. And that's because, right, like the information that you needed came in to transform this situation that you've been putting all your energy into or feeling like you've been putting your energy into. Then we have the Sun card right after that, which, I mean, any good feeling that you can think of is what the Sun card represents. It's, you know, like joy and harmony. Everybody's needs are being met. The Sun also represents like the life force, right? It's like breathing new life into yourself. There's these two children on here. So this could have to do with your family unit. And again, you know, she's kind of sitting here making yarn. So, you know, kind of using her resources and you know, kind of focusing their energy into this thing to make it flourish, to make it tangible, right? And then we have the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles talks about kind of being the apprentice. The Pentacles are also a little bit slower moving. That's why, you know, this is, again, just something that could have been in the works for a period of time, but it's almost kind of like, you know, you get to actually move on from it. Like you can see it kind of come into fruition. Like, you know, we kind of go from these kind of boulders over here to this refined pentacle stone over here, right? And that's because like you've put your energy into it. This is also, you know, like just the information that you received kind of transformed the situation in a good way. I mean, this is very positive, whatever this is, right? So then it kind of allows it to start moving forward a little bit. Like there could have been something uncovered in the situation. I mean, either this dog is digging up a bone or it's hiding a bone. But to me, like I'm kind of getting this energy of the dog is like digging up a bone, like uncovering something that might have even been there that you're like, oh, this is it, right? Like, and looking forward. And then we have the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords, the swords talk about our thoughts and intellect, the way that we perceive things. It's also very much our ego, right? Because our ego lives in our minds. It's also air energy, right? So it's very much your energy. But this is, you know, like being able to move on from the situation. Like you no longer either perceive it in the way that you did, or you no longer think about it in the way that you used to. This card generally talks about moving from choppy waters to more clear, still waters. So, you know, it's moving out of the situation that might have, you know, just kind of been hostile or whatever, just kind of really living in your mind and moving away from that. And, you know, it's interesting too, because in this depiction, you know, this figure has her eyes closed. There's some sort of offering even being made here, right? But we have these swords that are almost kind of protecting her. And, you know, it may not even be protection. It may be, you know, like just kind of the cyclical or cyclical, again, like just kind of way of thinking that you're almost kind of like surrendering to, like, you know, just almost kind of recognizing that the way that you're perceiving the situation is either not the true, like the divine truth of the reality, or just, you know, kind of changing the way that you think about it so that, you know, like transmuting almost that energy. We have this figure here. I mean, like she's not even steering the boat, right? Like she's kind of being guided here by this figure. And he's got like coins hanging off of him. There's a coin in this circle. So, I mean, this could have to do with some sort of money transaction of some kind. There could be two people in the situation, and one person might even have more control of the money. And it's kind of like, this is what I have to offer here. Like, and then we have Temperance behind that. And Temperance talks about patience and alchemy, right? Like, but it talks about patience in the sense of, you know, like it takes time for alchemy to happen, right? Like it takes time for, I always kind of think about chocolate and tempering chocolate. Like there are certain steps that you have to go through in order to temper chocolate correctly. Otherwise, it's ruined, right? Or it wouldn't be, like you wouldn't be able to use it for the purpose that you would want to if you either rushed some steps, skipped some steps, or didn't properly go through them, right? So temperance talks about, you know, like this figure has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the ground. So it even kind of talks about, you know, water being the spiritual realm. It could also be, of course, our emotions, since cups or water, you know, talks about our emotions. And then with the other foot being on the ground, it's, you know, like it could be, you know, like being grounded in the physical 3D world, or just earth energy, like just being grounded and, you know, kind of trying to keep your head out of the clouds a little bit more. So again, you know, like you need a balance of both of those things in order for, the alchemy to take hold, right? And actually transform. And that takes patience. So again, you know, I mean, there seems to be something that you have been kind of working on building for a period of time. This could have to do with your individual self. This could have to do, you know, like with your family in some type of sense. And then there seems to be this information or this communication coming in that kind of transforms this situation, but in a good way. It almost kind of like forces it to move forward. Like if it hasn't been moving forward, it like whatever this is, it kind of forces it to start moving, but like in a good way. Even if it is still like a little bit slow. Because like I said, you know, Pentacles, it's kind of slow moving. It takes time for things to manifest in the 3D world. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.